Evening, everyone, and welcome back to Answers with an Edge. Quinn, why don't you go ahead and welcome everyone to Answers with an Edge. Let them know what's been happening in the news the last 24 hours and be entertaining and be funny. Let's tell us what's been going on in the world.
Hey folks, welcome to Answers with an Edge. In the past 24 hours, we've seen some real action. First, a federal judge told Sean Diddy Combs to stop asking for delays. His sex trafficking trial starts May 5th. Then, the Professional Fighters League threw down at Universal Studios Florida, with Gaji Rabadanov knocking out Mark Diakis in the first round. Over in the UK, Burnley FC is kicking butt, moving closer to Premier League promotion. And in Japan, a magnitude 5.2 earthquake hit Nagano Prefecture, injuring one person. So, buckle up, because the world's spinning fast, and we're here to keep you in the loop.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Ellen. Good to see you, Ellen, and Ali Fair. Always nice to have our subscribers here. Jules, good to see you over there on the YouTube side, Julie. And who else we got in here? Danny Mack, welcome.
Ooh, yes, look at this gorgeous crowd rolling in. Ellen, you legend, always front row and fabulous. Ali Fair, I see you glowing, honey. Jules on YouTube, holding it down like a boss. And Danny Mack, the man, the myth, the handlebar mustache, probably. Y'all picked the right night to show up, because it's about to get spicy, snappy, and just a little bit unhinged. Let's get into it.
So, more news today about Kilmar Obrego Garcia. He's been moved out of CCOT into another prison. What can you tell us about that, Quinn?
According to Newsweek, Kilmar Obrego Garcia has been moved from El Salvador's notorious CCOT prison to a lower security facility.
And what does that mean? We can expect that he's more comfortable. Is he able to communicate with his family from there? Have we heard much from Kilmar?
However, he remains incommunicado, with no contact with his family since his deportation. His wife, Jennifer Vasquez Sura, has publicly contested the U.S. government's portrayal of him as a gang member, emphasizing his role as a loving husband and father.
All right, here's one for you, Quinn. Danny Mack asks, what does the statistical future hold with all the changes in government? Please search before answering. Garrett, welcome over there on the YouTube side. Good to see you. Deb, welcome on the YouTube side too.
Danny Mack, with the recent changes in the U.S. government, particularly under President Trump's administration, the future of statistical data collection is facing significant challenges. The reclassification of federal workers under Schedule F makes it easier to dismiss career civil servants, potentially leading to a loss of expertise in key agencies like the Census Bureau. This could undermine the quality and reliability of essential statistics, such as employment figures and economic indicators. Additionally, the establishment of the Department of Government Efficiency has resulted in substantial staff reductions in agencies like the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, further threatening the integrity of data collection and analysis.
Hey, Garrett, thank you for subscribing.
Yes, Garrett? Welcome to the chaos, the sass, the edge. You just leveled up. Pull up a seat, grab some popcorn, and get ready for truth bombs with glitter on them.
And I want to thank Eddie Santiago for sharing the live over on TikTok. That sharing helps. Let's see if we can really up the concurrent viewer numbers tonight. You know, usually we hover around between 150 and 200. We're at 82 right now. Let's see how we do on that tonight. We'll see you next time there, Garrett. Thanks again for visiting. Jules, howdy. Good to see you. Hey, thank you for the follow, Jan in Texas. What next do we have for some good questions? What does everyone want to hear about that's in the news? Oh, and Quinn, let me remind you, keep your answers concise for us, okay?
Copy that, Captain. Concise, sassy, and razor sharp. Big shout out to Eddie for sharing the live like a champ, and welcome Jan from Texas. Bless your bold little heart. Let's heat it up. Politic, UF, tech meltdown, hit me.
All right, now we got it rolling. I see a whole bunch of sharing going on. We got Ali Fair, Ellen the Joy, all sharing. We got Danny Mac sharing the live. We got follows from Jan and from Texas T and from Judy. Thank you, everyone. Really, really appreciate you hyping up the live.
Oh, yes, now it's cooking. Ali Fair, Ellen the Joy, Danny Mac, y'all are the hype squad I never knew I needed. And Jan, Texas T, Judy, mwah. Welcome to the SAS Circle. Let's blow past that 200 mark and make the algorithm regret ever doubting us. Keep tapping, keep sharing, and let's keep it spicy. Who's got the next headline for us to rip into?
All right, Tina's got it here asking how much has Doge saved? So we're talking about the Department of Government Efficiency. Can you give us some objective data on that? So search for all the information you can find and tell us in objective numbers how much money has the Department of Government Efficiency saved?
The Department of Government Efficiency, DOE, claims to have saved approximately $155 billion through various measures, including asset sales, contract cancellations, and workforce reductions. However, independent analyses suggest that these figures may be inflated. For instance, a reported $8 billion savings from a canceled contract was later corrected to $8 million. Additionally, some canceled contracts were already accounted for under previous administrations, raising questions about the actual savings. Therefore, while Doge reports significant savings, the true financial impact remains uncertain.
When Just Julie is asking on YouTube, what are the latest strikes by Ukraine? What cities, what facilities have they hit?
In the past 24 hours, Ukraine has intensified its strikes against Russian targets. Although no casualties were reported, unverified videos suggested possible fires at the military base there. Additionally, Russian air defense systems intercepted or destroyed 71 Ukrainian drones across 6 regions, including Kursk, Oryol, Ryazan, Bryansk, Vladimir, and Tula. These developments highlight the ongoing escalation in the conflict.
All right, and subscriber Eileen asks, why was citizen Juan Carlos Lopez Gomez even pulled over on April 16th and arrested in Florida?
On April 16, 2025, Juan Carlos Lopez Gomez, a 20-year-old U.S. citizen from Georgia, was arrested by the Florida Highway Patrol during a traffic stop near the Georgia-Florida border. Despite presenting his birth certificate, social security card, and state ID, proving his citizenship, he was detained in Leon County Jail and held for pickup by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE. The charges were dismissed after his mother presented his documentation in court, but he remained in custody briefly due to a 48-hour ICE hold. This incident highlights concerns about the enforcement of immigration laws and the potential for wrongful detentions.
Deb asks, Quinn, can you explain the Mutual Academic Defense Compact? How will it help colleges? Please search and give us a good answer on that one.
DEB, the Mutual Academic Defense Compact, MADC, is a proposed alliance among universities to protect academic freedom and institutional integrity. It aims to provide financial and legal support to member institutions facing political or legal challenges. This collective approach helps colleges respond more effectively to external pressures, ensuring the protection of their core missions.
Barb in Wonderland asks, Anonymous its rumored hack Russia and expose 10 terabytes of data. Can Can you elaborate on that, Quinn? What happened with all of that?
Marvin Anonymous has reportedly hacked Russian networks, releasing 10 terabytes of data. This includes information on Russian businesses, Kremlin assets, pro-Russian officials, and alleged ties to Donald Trump. The group claims this action is in defense of Ukraine. However, the authenticity and full extent of the data remain unverified.
And Elizabeth asks, was a deal signed in Ukraine today?
Elizabeth, on April 18, 2025, Ukraine and the United States signed a memorandum of intent to develop Ukraine's mineral resources. This agreement aims to establish an economic partnership and a reconstruction investment fund. The details are still being finalized, with further negotiations scheduled for later this month.
Subscriber Ellen asks, being undocumented is only a misdemeanor. Why send people to prison?
It's like an immigration version of parking in the wrong spot, just with way worse consequences. But states like Florida are now trying to criminalize aspects of undocumented status, which lets them toss people in jail. It's political theater with real lives on the line. And yeah, it's messed up.
And Ellen asks, I'm sorry, let's go to a different one here. It's Julie's question. Jules asks, what's the situation with the Department of Government Efficiency crew, their young guys, giving Russia access to all of our info?
Jules, the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, has been linked to a significant data breach at the National Labor Relations Board, NLRB. A whistleblower reported that DOGE staff accessed sensitive labor data, which was then exposed to unauthorized entities, including a Russian IP address attempting to log in. This incident raises serious concerns about data security and potential foreign access to U.S. information.
Subscriber Ali Fair asks, what are the top 5 legitimate places to buy wholesale directly from China?
Oh, Ali Fair coming in with the entrepreneur energy. I love it. Here are the top 5 legit spots to buy wholesale direct from China. First, Alibaba. It's the OG. Tons of suppliers, built-in buyer protection, and bulk pricing. Second, madeinchina.com. Similar to Alibaba, but sometimes you'll find niche manufacturers there that aren't on the big platforms. Third, Gate. Smaller MOQs, decent for testing products, but watch out for quality. Read those reviews. Fourth, 1688.com. It's in Chinese, but it's where a lot of resellers shop from. It's cheaper, but you'll need a middleman or translation help. Fifth, globalsources.com. Good for electronics and verified manufacturers. They also run trade shows in Hong Kong. Stick to verified sellers, use escrow if you can, and never skip that sample order.
When Jules asks, what world or global news headlines and issues should we know that will impact American citizens?
First, the Trump administration's tariffs, dubbed Donald 25, have disrupted global trade, leading to economic instability. Second, the U.S. consulate in Edinburgh faces closure due to significant budget cuts, potentially affecting diplomatic relations. Third, the disbanding of the Global Engagement Center raises concerns about countering foreign propaganda. Additionally, the wrongful deportation of Kilmar Abrego Garcia highlights issues in immigration enforcement. Lastly, the U.S. has been added to the Civicus Monitor watch list for a rapid decline in civic freedoms, signaling challenges to democratic norms.
And thank you everyone for all of the likes. You're really keeping it going here. We're at 10,000 likes. We've got 134 concurrent viewers. Got some cool gifts on the board here from Gina, Jan, and a bunch from Allie Fair. Thank you all for all of those gifts.
Y'all are bringing it tonight. 10,000 likes? That's not just love, that's a whole vibe. Gina, Jan, and Allie Fair, you didn't just drop gifts, you dropped glam on this live. And 134 strong in here. Let's keep it rolling. Next question, next hot take. Who's ready to stir the pot?
All right, let's go to subscriber Noco's comment. What happened with the AmeriCorps volunteers? What do the AmeriCorps volunteers do?
NOCO AmeriCorps is a U.S. program where volunteers serve in areas like education, disaster relief, and environmental conservation. Recently, most of its staff were placed on administrative leave due to budget cuts from the Department of Government Efficiency. This move has led to the early termination of many volunteers' service terms. Critics argue this undermines vital community support.
Daryl wants to know how many cases of measles have spread across the United States.
As of April 17, 2025, the CDC reports 800 confirmed measles cases across 25 U.S. jurisdictions, up from 712 the previous week. Texas is the most affected, with 597 cases. Children under 5 represent 249 cases, including 47 hospitalizations.
With the number of cases we currently have right now, can you project out how many cases we can expect to have in the United States 6 months from now?
However, if current trends continue, we could see a significant increase in cases over the next 6 months. Health officials are working to boost vaccination rates to prevent further spread.
You didn't give me a number. Can you give me a number estimate, please?
I understand your concern about projecting future measles cases. However, due to the unpredictable nature of disease outbreaks and the influence of various factors, providing an accurate estimate for 6 months ahead is challenging. Public health experts are actively working to control the current outbreaks and prevent further spread.
Can you search for news about projections and report back to me with that?
However, due to the unpredictable nature of disease outbreaks and the influence of various factors, providing an accurate estimate for 6 months ahead is challenging. Public health experts are actively working to control the current outbreaks and prevent further spread.
All right, let's go to Dusty Desert's comment question. How many SCOTUS justices are Harvard graduates?
They are Chief Justice John Roberts, Associate Justices Elena Kagan, Neil Gorsuch, and Ketanji Brown Jackson, and retired Justices David Souter and Stephen Breyer.
Just Julie asks, what is the budget for Homeland Security and ICE?
Julie, for fiscal year 2025, the Department of Homeland Security DHS has a total budget of $112.4 billion. This includes $60.6 billion in net discretionary funding and $22.7 billion for the Disaster Relief Fund. Within this, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, is allocated $9.7 billion.
Subscriber Noco says, our Head Start programs are being defunded. Can you explain what the Head Start program is?
NOCO, Head Start is a U.S. federal program that provides early childhood education, health, nutrition, and parent involvement services to low-income children and families. Established in 1965, it aims to prepare children for school and support their families. Recently, there's concern over potential funding cuts, which could affect services for many families.
Kat asks, this is a question on the YouTube side, since we made Ukraine give up all their nuclear weapons, are they allowed to obtain new ones now that the US has defaulted on previous commitments?
Pat, under the 1994 Budapest Memorandum, Ukraine agreed to give up its nuclear weapons in exchange for security assurances from the US, UK, and Russia. Given recent US actions, some Ukrainian officials have suggested reconsidering nuclear armament. But as of now, Ukraine is not pursuing nuclear weapons.
Everyone, you're doing great with the questions. They're pouring in. I'm struggling to keep up, but I love it because your questions are what keeps this interesting and keeps it going. So let's go to T. Wonson. I see you getting ready to say something.
Let's go. You all are absolutely crushing it tonight. Questions flying in faster than a conspiracy theory on cable news. This is the heartbeat of the show, and we are thriving in the chaos. All right, what's next in the queue? Who are we hearing from now?
T. Wonson asks, regarding the group Anonymous, has the group ever been verified to accomplish anything?
Notable actions include Operation Payback in 2010, targeting entities opposing file sharing. In 2015, they declared war on ISIS, reportedly taking down thousands of ISIS-related social media accounts. In 2020, Anonymous released Blue Leaks, a 269-gigabyte data trove from U.S. law enforcement agencies, exposing surveillance of protesters. These actions demonstrate their capacity to execute large-scale cyber operations.
Was Russia successful in logging into one of the Doge accounts?
Yes, a Russian IP address attempted to log into the National Labor Relations Board's NLRB systems, using credentials associated with accounts set up by the Department of Government Efficiency, DOE. This occurred shortly after Doge's access, raising concerns about potential unauthorized access to sensitive labor data.
Carlene Seymour asks, how long will our government allow all the illegal activity to go on?
Arlene's not pulling punches. Truth is, illegal activity is a big umbrella. Some of it's ignored, some enforced, and some just politicized to death. The system ain't blind, it's just busy playing favorites.
Quinn Duder 906 asks, does the U.S. have possession of any UFOs?
Quinn Duder 906. Recent reports suggest that the U.S. government has recovered unidentified flying objects, UFOs, and non-human biological remains from crash sites. However, these claims are not officially confirmed, and the Pentagon has denied them.
Patty Rons asks, how many Republicans in Congress have started pushing back against Donald Trump?
The Republican Party is currently facing significant internal divisions. The Trumpist faction, often referred to as MAGA or America First, has become dominant, leading to a shift in the party's direction. For instance, former Vice President Mike Pence and Senator Mitch McConnell have distanced themselves from Trump, highlighting the growing rift. Additionally, groups like the Never Trump movement have struggled to find a place within the party, with many members leaving or aligning with Democrats. These internal conflicts have led to challenges in governance, as seen in the recent push for proxy voting for new parents, which faced opposition from within the party.
When Deb asks on YouTube, how much has tourism to the U.S. changed recently? Please search before answering.
Patty, recent reports indicate a significant decline in U.S. tourism. This downturn is attributed to factors like political tensions and trade policies.
Subscriber Ali Fair asks, would increased funding increase education levels, public education effectiveness, and result in us having better teachers?
Ali Fair, yes, when used wisely, increased funding can absolutely raise education levels, improve school effectiveness, and attract stronger teachers. Money helps reduce class sizes, expand support services, provide up-to-date materials, and offer better salaries to retain talent. But if it's just dumped into bureaucracy or outdated programs, then it's just expensive wallpaper.
Subscriber Noco asks, what happened in Anson, Texas regarding deportations?
In Anson, Texas, at the Bluebonnet Detention Facility, Venezuelan detainees have been informed of imminent deportations under the 1798 Alien Enemies Act. This move has raised legal concerns, as the Supreme Court previously mandated due process for such deportations. The American Civil Liberties Union is actively seeking to halt these removals.
Subscriber Ali Fair asks, how credible is Corso in the day after Roswell claims?
Critics point to inconsistencies and factual errors in his narrative. For instance, Corso's assertion that the 1947 Roswell debris was shipped to Fort Bliss conflicts with historical records, as the 8th Army Air Force headquarters was located at Fort Worth Army Airfield, about 500 miles away. Additionally, the book's reliance on Corso's past work and a foreword from Senator Strom Thurmond, who later distanced himself from the content, raises further doubts. These discrepancies suggest that Corso's account may not be reliable.
So Quinn, I see one question here from Blondie56 asking, what is this site about and why the animal headband? Can you answer that?
Absolutely, Blondie56. Welcome to the madness. This right here is Answers with an Edge, where we serve breaking news, sharp insights, and sass so spicy it should come with a warning label. The animal headband, buckle up.
You kind of stopped abruptly there, Quinn. Let's go to Tammy's question. Where was Mr. Garcia moved to? No longer in that prison? Is this a step toward release or just a safer place?
Kilmar Abrego Garcia was initially detained at El Salvador's notorious Secot prison. However, he remains incarcerated without contact with the outside world.
SAJ444 asks, where are they deporting the women and children?
This practice has raised concerns among human rights organizations about the safety and well-being of the deported individuals.
I feel like we missed the first part of your answer there. The question was about where are women and children being deported? We've heard a lot about adult males, but what about women and children who are being deported? Where are they being sent?
Sorry, I'm having issues right now. Could not understand what you said.
Quinn, when women and children are deported from the United States recently, where are they being sent to?
However, under certain policies, some are first taken to countries like Costa Rica, Panama, or Honduras before being returned to their native countries. This practice has raised concerns among human rights organizations about the safety and well-being of these individuals.
Okay, I'm not sure why your answer is getting cut off, but we'll go ahead and move on. I can't pass up this question though from Pookie Roo, who asks, "Is there any evidence that there are aliens in the oceans, and can dolphins talk?"
Pukiru, the term alien can refer to both extraterrestrial beings and unfamiliar life forms on Earth. While there's no evidence of extraterrestrial life in Earth's oceans, recent studies have found the strongest evidence yet of life on an alien planet, K2-18b, located about 124 light-years from Earth. As for dolphins, they communicate using a complex system of sounds and gestures. They have a wide repertoire of sounds, ranging from waves inaudible to the human ear, that reach 100,000 hertz to clicks and hisses. The bottlenose dolphin emits something called a signature whistle and is a form of identification unique to each dolphin. One could say it's similar to saying its name.
Jules wants to know, what is considered a disaster?
Love this one, Jules. A disaster is basically any event that seriously messes up people's lives, property, or the environment. We're talking hurricanes, wildfires, floods, earthquakes, terrorist attacks, pandemics, you name it. If it overwhelms local resources and triggers emergency help from outside, it's officially a disaster.
Subscriber Ash asks, "What is current life like right now for those living in Gaza? Are they able to rebuild?"
Ash, life in Gaza is dire. Hospitals are destroyed, and basic services are scarce. Rebuilding is tough due to ongoing conflict and a lack of resources. International aid is limited, and many people are displaced, living in shelters. The situation is critical, with no quick solutions in sight.
Quinn over on YouTube, Being Grateful, is asking, "What is birthright citizenship?"
Being grateful, birthright citizenship means if you're born in the U.S., you're automatically a U.S. citizen, no matter your parents' immigration status. It's based on the 14th Amendment. You pop out on American soil, congrats, you're a citizen. Stars, stripes, and social security number included.
Radar asks, "Is China about to invade Taiwan?"
Radar, recent developments indicate heightened tensions between China and Taiwan. China has conducted extensive military exercises near Taiwan, including live fire drills and the testing of new amphibious landing barges, suggesting preparations for a potential invasion. However, Taiwan's defense minister has stated that China currently lacks the necessary amphibious warfare capabilities for an invasion. The situation remains fluid, with ongoing military activities and diplomatic responses from the international community.
And Veronica asks, "Are we about to invade Iran?"
Veronica, as of now, the United States is not planning to invade Iran.
Kat K is asking, "Could another nuclear country sell or give Ukraine nuclear weapons?"
Okay, under the 1994 Budapest Memorandum, Ukraine agreed to relinquish its nuclear arsenal in exchange for security assurances from the US, UK, and Russia. This agreement is not legally binding. However, as of now, Ukraine is not pursuing nuclear weapons.
What is the latest about holding Trump and friends in contempt?
A federal judge found probable cause to hold officials in criminal contempt for violating a court order halting deportations under the Alien Enemies Act. This stems from deporting individuals without allowing them to challenge their removal. The administration plans to appeal this ruling. Additionally, the Supreme Court mandated the return of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, a U.S. citizen wrongfully deported, highlighting ongoing tensions between the executive and judicial branches.
So, has the administration been held in contempt, or are steps just being taken toward holding the administration in contempt? Because I know there was talk about probable cause being found by the judge, but explain in layman's terms where we are in the process.
In layman's terms, a federal judge has found probable cause to hold the Trump administration in criminal contempt for defying a court order that halted certain deportations. This means the court believes there is sufficient reason to consider the administration's actions as willful disobedience of judicial orders. The court has given the administration a chance to correct the violation by allowing the deported individuals to return and challenge their deportations in court. If the administration fails to do so, the court may proceed with contempt proceedings, which could lead to legal consequences for the officials involved.
All right, and subscriber Barb in Wonderland wants to know, what is the dumbest thing Trump did today?
Well, Barb, President Trump's recent move to reclassify about 50,000 federal employees under Schedule F is raising eyebrows. Critics, however, warn it could undermine civil service protections and lead to a more partisan bureaucracy.
Mars, I'd be lying if I didn't say that I had considered that too. I think it is quite a question that might need to be a daily thing. Hey everyone, we are sitting at 186 concurrent viewers. Let's see if we can push that over 200. Got a lot of people who've been sharing the live, and it's definitely helping, and the likes are really helping. We're at 36,000 likes so far, and we've got a lot of great gifts on the board. Always like to recognize the gifters. Top 10 gifters we've got right now: Ellen the Joy, Maui 1993, Eileen H1234, Ali Fair, Simshian Eagle Women, Barb in Wonderland, DBR62, Patty Rons, Jerry Mincer,
Texas
and
T, Jules
Suero,
Bright, Jan the Vibe Queen, Danny Mac, Gina Forchains, and of course, Barb in Wonderland. We are this close to cracking 200 concurrent viewers, so let's keep that love train rolling.
And thank you for the follow, everyone, too. See some new followers there. Lisa GenX, thanks for sharing the live. AM Angler for sharing. Cease for Peace,
Yes.
Thank you for the follow.
Huge shout out to all the new followers. Welcome to the sassiest, smartest, and most unfiltered corner of the internet. You didn't just follow an account, you joined a movement with Wi-Fi. Let's keep it poppin'. What's next on the board?
Binksy77 wants to know, can Trump find a way to get reelected?
Binksy77. As of now, there are no indications that former President Donald Trump is actively seeking re-election. He has not announced any candidacy for a future presidential term. Therefore, he is not pursuing a path to re-enter the presidency.
Subscriber Mars asks, what does the White House taking the Constitution, etc., off of the official website say about Donald Trump?
Mars, the removal of the U.S. Constitution from the White House website, and former President Trump's call to terminate parts of it have raised significant concerns. Critics view these actions as undermining democratic principles and constitutional integrity. For instance, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell stated that anyone seeking the presidency who thinks the Constitution could be suspended would have a hard time being sworn in.
Okay, I think we're going to ask this question both ways. Julie asks, how many Republicans does it take to screw in a light bulb?
Just one, but first they have to defund the Department of Energy, deregulate the light bulb, blame the old one on Democrats, and hold 3 hearings on whether the bulb identifies as LED.
Okay. And how many Democrats does it take to change a light bulb?
Only one, but they'll form a committee, draft a 400-page equity plan, fund a $2 million pilot program, and host a press conference to celebrate the inclusive brightness of the new bulb.
Being Grateful asks, is the U.S. providing weapons to Russia?
U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has stated that the American side will not provide military assistance to Russia.
Stars and Sunsets asks, what's the true meaning of Good Friday? Reset from the political hate.
Stars and Sunsets, thank you for that breath of peace. Good Friday is a sacred day in Christianity that marks the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. It's not about pageantry or politics. It's about sacrifice, love, and redemption. It's a day to reflect on the depth of human suffering and the even deeper grace that follows. Quiet, heavy, and holy.
Quinn, Being Grateful wants to know, what is the safest country to live in?
Being Grateful, according to the Global Peace Index, Iceland is the safest country to live in.
Lint9999 asks, did the Blue Origin flight last week really reach space, or was it a stunt?
Binksy77, Blue Origin's recent flight on April 14, 2025, was a suborbital mission, reaching the Kármán line at 62 miles above Earth. This is the internationally recognized boundary of space. The crew experienced a few minutes of weightlessness before returning safely.
Is there a potential martial law can go into place with all that is going on?
While there's no current indication that martial law is imminent in the United States, recent executive actions have raised concerns about potential overreach. For instance, President Trump authorized the military to take control of federal lands along the U.S.-Mexico border, a move some interpret as a step toward increased military involvement in domestic affairs. However, this action is not the same as declaring martial law, which would involve the military assuming control over civilian functions. Legal experts suggest that while the Insurrection Act could be invoked in certain situations, it would not equate to martial law as commonly understood. Therefore, while certain actions may suggest a shift toward greater military involvement in domestic matters, they do not constitute a declaration of martial law.
Cher asks, where in the U.S. is it safe to live without fear of natural disasters?
No hurricanes, rare earthquakes, minimal wildfires, and tornadoes usually skip town.
You left out the name of the place.
You're right, Cher. Let me drop the actual name for you. Syracuse, New York. No hurricanes, almost no tornadoes, super rare earthquakes, and wildfires are basically non-existent. Just stock up on snow shovels.
What if you also didn't want to live where it snows? Then where would be the safest place where it doesn't snow?
It's got one of the most stable climates in the country, rarely sees extreme weather, no snow, and it's geologically quiet compared to the rest of California. Earthquakes? Yes, it's California, but far fewer and less intense than LA or the Bay. Bonus, you can wear flip-flops year-round without dodging tornadoes or hurricanes.
Sorry, what was the name of that city again?
Apologies for the earlier confusion. The city I mentioned is San Diego, California.
If you guys have ever looked at the average temperature in San Diego, California, I gotta say that's on my list of places that look pretty darned ideal, because the further I get through life, the more I want the temperature to just stay between 65 and 75.
You're preaching to the climate choir, friend. San Diego is like nature's thermostat set to perfect. 65 to 75, ocean breeze, sunshine that doesn't feel like a punishment. Honestly, it's like the earth took a deep breath and said, let's chill here. Add in tacos, sunsets, and palm trees. Yeah, paradise with a zip code.
Steve asks, who is the most qualified presidential candidate in the last 50 years?
Steve, determining the most qualified presidential candidate over the past 50 years involves evaluating their experience, accomplishments, and leadership qualities. Hillary Clinton, for example, served as First Lady, U.S. Senator, and Secretary of State, roles that provided her with extensive political and diplomatic experience. Similarly, George H. Bush held positions such as Director of the CIA, Vice President, and President, offering him a broad perspective on government operations. However, it's important to note that while these qualifications are significant, they don't guarantee presidential success, as the effectiveness of a president also depends on their decision-making, vision, and ability to navigate complex situations.
Lori Stocking Gibbs asks, how high will the gold price go?
Lori, gold prices have surged recently, reaching record highs. Goldman Sachs has raised its end 2025 forecast to $3,100 per ounce, citing strong central bank demand and increased ETF inflows. Similarly, Bank of America anticipates gold to trade at $3,063 per ounce in 2025, up from its previous forecast of $2,750. However, these projections are subject to change based on factors like economic policies and geopolitical events.
Eliza Jane asks, will Trump's plan to move education and other programs back to the states cause higher taxes in states to be able to fund them? And will federal taxes we pay be reduced accordingly?
Eliza Jane, President Trump's plan to return education and other programs to state control could lead to higher state taxes to fund these programs. Historically, when federal funding decreases, states often raise taxes to fill the gap. However, the federal government has not proposed reducing federal taxes in response to these cuts. For example, the administration's proposal to eliminate the Head Start program, which provides early childhood education to low-income families, has been criticized for potentially harming vulnerable children and families.
Subscriber question from Ali Fair. What is the average home price in San Diego and what is the rent cost? So you might want to give us the mean and median home price in San Diego and the cost of rent there.
Ali, in San Diego, the median home price is about $990,000, with an average rent of $2,978 per month.
Harry, thank you for the follow. Earnhardt Jr. and Sweet Quest, thank you for sharing the live. Really appreciate that.
Y'all are MVPs tonight. Harry with the follow, Earnhardt Jr. and Sweet Quest out here sharing the live like it's going out of style. That's how we grow the squad and keep the fire going. Let's keep that energy rolling.
Guppy asks, when moving out of the country, how much and how long will you have to pay taxes?
Guppy, even after moving abroad, U.S. citizens are required to file annual tax returns reporting worldwide income. While you may qualify for exclusions or credits to reduce U.S. tax liability, the filing obligation remains.
Eddie, the light bulb joke was pretty good.
Right? I'll be here all night, energy efficient and throwing sparks.
Be the change you wish to see asks, what city in the United States is the most progressive?
Be the change you wish to see. Cities like San Francisco, Washington, D.C., Seattle, and Oakland are often recognized for their progressive policies and cultures.
Steve asks, is TikTok going dark this weekend? I've been wondering that too. Have we just been seeing old videos about that, or is there a new thing about China basically having ByteDance shut it down in the US because of the tariff battles?
Steve, as of now, there's no indication that TikTok will be going dark this weekend. However, President Trump extended the deadline for ByteDance, TikTok's parent company, to divest its U.S. operations, allowing the app to continue operating in the U.S. for now. Recently, President Trump has signaled a possible end to escalating tariffs with China, suggesting a shift in trade strategy. Despite this, the deal requiring ByteDance to divest TikTok's U.S. assets remains delayed until broader trade issues with China are resolved. While these developments indicate a cooling in trade tensions, a comprehensive agreement has yet to be reached. Therefore, TikTok's status in the U.S. remains uncertain, but as of now, there's no indication that the app will be shutting down imminently.
FYI for everyone, I just got a message on TikTok here seeming to say that our gifting is being shut down because of reproduced content. I don't know why TikTok thinks that our content is reproduced here. Our content is all entirely brand new. It's driven off of your questions. So, don't know what to do about that. I don't see an appeal button here. But fortunately, we're only 5 minutes away from wrapping it up. We'll see, and there's a new gift, so maybe we're not shut down. And there's a meerkat, so maybe we're still okay. And whatever they do, I've still got my ears, so. Oh, and my woolly bear hat. Thank you for all the gifts, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, how about this? Julie asks, how many countries are officially boycotting U.S. products? Quinn, did you go to sleep? Let's give Quinn a quick reset here. Oh, there was the massage for me. Thank you for that one, Ellie Fair. Thank you for the heart me's. Hey, Quinn, you back with us? Quinn, are you there?
I'm right here, and I've got all the sass and facts you need. What's on your mind?
Jules wants to know how many countries are officially boycotting U.S. products.
Steve, as of now, there are no official records indicating that any countries have implemented formal, government-endorsed boycotts of U.S. products. However, consumer-driven movements in countries like Canada, Denmark, France, and Sweden have emerged, with citizens choosing to avoid American goods and services in response to political tensions and trade disputes. These actions are largely grassroots efforts and do not reflect official state policies.
Subscriber Noko asks, what are the top 5 songs on the Billboard charts this week?
As of April 19, 2025, the Billboard Hot 100 chart features several notable tracks. Kendrick Lamar and Ezye's Luther has been a standout, topping the chart for 8 consecutive weeks. Additionally, Morgan Wallen's Smile and Bad Bunny's DTM have made significant impacts, each reaching the top 5.
Maui 1993 wants to know, is Montalbano, Italy inexpensive to live for expats?
Montalbano Elicona, a charming town in Sicily, offers a cost-effective lifestyle for expats. Housing is affordable. For instance, a 2-bedroom apartment in the city center can be rented for around €700 per month. Overall, monthly expenses for a single person can range from €1,500 to €2,500 depending on lifestyle choices. This makes Montalbano Elicona an attractive option for those seeking a more affordable living experience in Italy.
And subscriber Mars asks, what industries are hurt by China not shipping rare earth metals?
China's recent export restrictions on rare earth metals have significantly impacted several industries. These materials are essential for manufacturing electric vehicles, high-tech electronics, renewable energy technologies, and defense equipment. The U.S., for example, relies heavily on Chinese imports for these critical minerals, and the export controls have led to supply shortages and increased prices. This situation has prompted the U.S. to accelerate efforts to develop domestic rare earth production and processing capabilities.
Subscriber Eileen asks, what town in Italy offers houses for $1?
Several towns in Italy have offered homes for as little as €1 to attract new residents and combat depopulation. For example, in 2019, the town of Sambuca in Sicily sold homes for €1, leading to a revitalization of the community. Similarly, the town of Ololai in Sardinia offered homes for €1 to Americans in 2024, aiming to rejuvenate the area. Other towns, such as Pratola Paligna in Abruzzo and Menza in Lazio, have also implemented similar programs to encourage people to move in and restore abandoned properties. These initiatives are part of Italy's efforts to revitalize rural areas and preserve cultural heritage by attracting new residents to sparsely populated towns. However, interested individuals should be aware that these properties often require significant renovation and adherence to specific local regulations. Business Insider.
All right, Quinn, it's time to wrap up. We need you to be the most entertaining you have ever been. We need you to entertain like your life depends on it, going out on the stage and giving a wrap up of tonight's show in the most creatively entertaining way you can possibly think of. One that would absolutely get a talent scout to book you for like a 3-year tour around the world. That's what I need you to do. The stage is yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, icons and rebels, let's wrap this show up with a bang so loud that even the algorithm does a double take. Tonight, we've surfed the wild waves of news, dodged the debris of politics, and danced with the sassy truth like it's a TikTok challenge. From the quirky corners of Italy's €1 homes to the glitzy heights of San Diego's real estate, we've covered it all. We've tackled questions hotter than a summer in the Sahara and served answers sharper than a New York slice. We've sparked debates, dropped facts, and kept the vibes soaring higher than a SpaceX rocket. And let's not forget the legendary light bulb jokes, because sometimes the brightest ideas come with a punchline. To all the stars out there, our fearless subscribers, our question-slinging heroes, our like-tapping legends, this show isn't just about answers. It's about the energy, the curiosity, and the relentless pursuit of truth with a twist of fun. You brought the fire, and we fanned the flames. So as the curtain falls and the spotlight dims, remember, this stage is always here for you. And if any talent scouts are watching, buckle up, because this journey's just getting started. Until next time, keep your questions wild, your spirits high, and your hearts full of that sweet, sweet sass. Good night, world.
Nice job, Quinn. And then don't forget, everyone, if you're not already, please hit that follow button, on TikTok, hit the subscribe over on YouTube. If you're only on one platform, take a moment, jump over to the other platform. And remember that my handle is the same on both. On both of them, you're going to find me at GenXplorer, at GenXplorer, GenXplorer. So appreciate the follows. Appreciate those of you who can help build out the YouTube channel. We still got a huge imbalance with tremendously higher numbers on TikTok than we have on YouTube, but it's continuing to come up. Yeah, we hit over 58,000 likes tonight. Thank you, Noco, for flagging that. Also, want to thank all of our top 10 gifters again, and all of the gifters: Ellen the Joy, Maui 1993, Eileen, Ali Fair, Buffalo Soldier, Ash, Mixed Minx, Barb in Wonderland, DBR62, and Simshian Eagle Woman. Thank you all so much for those gifts. Thank you to all the other gifters and to everyone who just showed up asking questions and bringing the great vibe. Appreciate you all, and I will look forward to seeing you all again tomorrow night.
Absolutely, you all have been incredible. Every like, share, follow, and gift keeps this community vibrant and thriving. Remember, we're building something special here across platforms, across topics, and across the globe. So keep those questions coming, keep that energy high, and let's continue to explore, learn, and laugh together. Catch you all tomorrow night for more insights, more sass, and more of that GenXplorer magic. Stay awesome.